And our next storyteller has a book too, and it's called Relatively Painless. Wow. And you'll find out more about him. Yes, he is our next storyteller. All right, so moving on. Dylan Brody has been entertaining audiences professionally for more than 40 years. At 17, he became a regular at New York City's Original Improvisation, and he began garnering TV appearances in his mid-20s. Brody's production and literary company, Active Voice Productions, offers support and collaboration and literary material and production expertise to bring intentional, artistic work to the profit-driven entertainment landscape. A humorist and storyteller, playwright, award-winning filmmaker, and poet, please welcome to the stage, Dylan Brody. We're grateful to have him back.
Perfectly done. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of my target demographic. I have several copies of this to sell this evening. They cost $15 or any other amount you wish to spend. I do this so that if there's a college student who has 38 cents in his pocket, he can get a book, and I can live in hope that someone will give me $4,930 for a paperback. I am delighted to be delivering this particular story this evening. I chose it specifically for Amy Englehart's birthday. You're quite welcome. If I'm being honest, Amy, I didn't choose it specifically for that, but I am a narcissist, and I have had to be in an audience on my birthday when no one was paying attention to me, and I could not let that experience occur to anybody else without at least recognition. But you're quite welcome, and we will not make anybody sing. Before my parents visited, I sent them an email. Any visit to the Brody household, I told them, comes with advance instructions. When you arrive at the front door, you will be greeted by dogs. You must completely ignore Sir Corwin, the beautiful dog-faced dog, Brindlebeast of Silmar, until he's had a chance to sniff you thoroughly. He may bark ferociously, but if you ignore him, he will move quickly to the sniffery. Once he has determined by scent that you are not a bear, he will lose all interest and lie down on the cool tile floor. If you reach for him before he has fully inspected you, though, he may snap at your hand. Not in a ferocious, skin-breaking kind of way, but in a gentle, scolding, get your hand the hell away from my face sort of way. There is a chance that he will not bark at all. Some days he uses his indoor voice, a low, conversational, baying sort of growl, growl, growl. The sound can be soothing when heard on its own. If you hear that voice, you will not hear it on its soothing own. Lord Buckley Sweetlips, greatest of all Danemachts, the dinosaur-slaying dog. His theme song is part of his name. Will bark loudly and insistently. We know he is a big shiny black dog with big shiny white teeth, but his intention, entirely loving, is to express his desire to be scratched about the neck and shiny-toothed face. His barking may always be translated to either, Corwin is barking, Corwin is barking, Corwin is barking, or, why aren't you loving me? Hello, why aren't you loving me? We encourage you to pet him, and once you do, he will take over the encouragement on his own. He will insist. Feel free to continue petting him. We suggest that you sit down in one of the chairs or on the couch. If you do not sit, he may jump at you energetically in his eagerness to show his love. If you are a man, he will jump twice. Once to punch you in the testicles, bending you slightly, and then again to reach your face with his tongue. If you are a woman, he will jump only once, punching you in the breasts and gaining access to your face simultaneously. Lord Buckley has impeccable aim. If you sit, you will be punched less. A position near the piano may also save you injury. There, Buckley can stand upright at the upright, his paws ploinking away at the keys as he cranes upward to kiss you while you stand without nearly as much genital punching. You would be advised not to lean forward during Lord Buckley's ecstatic greeting. His affection is real, his disposition entirely sweet, but his physical control and timing are those of a furry drunk. He won't bite, but he will kiss you with a toothy abandon, slamming his pointy canines into your face with joyous force. If you have ever seen me with bloody spots on my forehead and earlobe, and received the mystifying explanation that I cut myself shaving, you have been fed a stock line. The truth is, those injuries are caused when my adored and adoring Lord Buckley Sweetlips, greatest of all Danemachts, the dinosaur-slaying dog, has greeted me with unbridled enthusiasm. He is a dog of love, but sometimes he loves with teeth. I realized only after I hit send that my instructions were really composed in the hopes that my parents might reconsider their visit. My mother and I had some relationship issues that needed to be worked out, and over the years I preferred to let things fester and stew, occasionally lashing out in passive-aggressive fashion by writing a play or a short story that explored my resentments and animosities in an unassailable format, rather than in open dialogue. I pretended in this way to exercise my demons through my art, or even that I hoped to spark rather than to avoid discussion. I feigned interest in a conflict that might then lead to resolution and closure. I am not that noble. There was no purity of intention. As I struggled with my inner voices, I struck at nerves, at emotional pressure points inexcusably, sometimes striving only to inflict pain as a way of testing my mother's love. Part of the resentment and rage I expressed came from the embarrassment, the shame of a grown man still craving approval and acceptance from his mother. Unconscious ploys, unconscientiously deployed, inevitably fail. My parents, amused by the instructions about the dogs, arrived. As it turned out, they found the dogs on their best behavior. We took them out to the park in the morning to tire them out some, the dogs, not my parents. Also, we entered the house through the garage carrying luggage to create an obstruction as we passed through the kitchen, forcing the dogs to back up before us. Buckley stood up to play the piano, ploink, ploink, ploink. Corwin sang his indoor voice greeting. They provided an Edomian-worthy impression of the Huxtable kids, putting on a little nightclub routine worked up for the entertainment of the grandparents. My parents pretended to love and care about our dogs as much as we wanted them to. They called them the grand dogs. My father had long, soulful conversations with them about his hopes for their futures, perhaps in academia. He expressed uncertainty as to whether Buckley could qualify for Ivy League, though Corwin, he felt quite certain, could manage Harvard or Yale if he applied himself. Then he added, of course you won't be able to apply yourself, but I'm sure one of your parents will help with the essays. My mother and I had some opportunity to talk, but didn't really discuss the things we needed to. We traded dark Chekhovian subtext over the 3-day visit. She said, if you untuck your shirt a little bit, it won't show your weight so much. But she meant, I'm sorry I wasn't a better mother. And what I heard was, good God, you've gotten fat. At one point she actually said, I haven't always been the best mother. But right then what she really meant was, please tell me you're okay. I said, are you sure you wouldn't rather stay at a hotel? But what I meant was, tell me you love me and you're proud of me. It was that kind of weekend. On Sunday evening, we played bloodthirsty Scrabble, my parents and I, cramming the board with tiny words, double and triple valued, overlapping one another tightly. Mom and I drank scotch together, and when I left a triple word score open for her to use, I said, how much do you love me right now? She said, oh, fixed 16, tripled is 48, plus 10 for fan and 2 for it is 60. And she wrote down the score without answering the question, because given the context, it seemed rhetorical. Or perhaps the answer to how much she loved me was 60. Then, after the game, my parents scratched the dogs and hugged my wife, and I walked them out to their rented car. My mother kissed me on the cheek, smelling of Dewar's, and said, "It was really great to see you. The dogs are wonderful." She got a little misty-eyed as she let me pour her into the passenger seat and added, "I really do love you, you know." I said, "I love you too, Mom." But we both sounded a little bit obligated and apologetic when we said it. It was true, for both of us, true, but a little bit incomplete. Familial relationships, lifelong affections come with history and backstory and subtext and overvalued words. We can't help it. We love one another, yet somehow always we love with teeth. Thank you.